Good evening and welcome to the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. I'm Mike Babicz, your host and the voice of the Wilmot Raceway and other area racing from time to time. And we're going to kind of mix things up just a little bit. I hope I don't catch Kent too off guard. We're going to start off with thanking the folks that put us on the air each and every week. John Hatterline, attorney at law, Force One Performance. Also, of course, B&L Office Furniture and All-American Tire and Auto Repair of Kenosha and Lindenhurst. Of course, our good friends from Great Lakes Dragaway, Steve Sinclair and the Bumper to Bumper IRA Outlaw Sprint Cars, the Wilmot Raceway that's going to be hosting its Fall Classic this coming weekend, RC Electronics, Fox Lake Harbor, Richmond, or the Hunt Club of Richmond, Midwest Motor Coach, Olson Transportation. They provide the transportation for the Lake County Honor Flight that'll be going up to Mitchell about the second weekend, I believe it is, in October. MLS Auto Clinic, Eddie and Debbie Boyd. They do a lot to help racers. Impressions Count. Randy and his crew in downtown Antioch do a great job. Weeby Waxon, Chad, and they are looking to help you not only get your boat cleaned up, your car cleaned up, your motorhome cleaned up, but they can help you store it for the winter. Contact Weeby Waxon. And if Weeby Waxon can't house it, contact the Mullises at Fox Lake Harbor because they're also involved in storage. Bodycraft, Mark and Tony Maglio, Bodycraft. They've done a lot with the Wilmot Raceway over the years and with area racing, including a major contributor to Founders Night for the Bumper to Bumper IRA Outlaw Sprint Cars at Wilmot the last couple of years. And they also provide the Wilmot Raceway Pace Truck along with M3 Custom Creations. Buddies of McHenry, Sean and his staff, they've got great food available there on Green Street in downtown McHenry. Culvers of Paddock Lake. They are actually having a fundraiser tonight to help out that cross-country young man that was injured. And so I believe it's still going on up there at Culvers. Check them out. And again, make sure you tell them that you want some money to go to that young man who was struck by a car a couple of weeks ago up there in Paddock Lake. I understand he's coming along, but our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to him. Aiming Apparel and Diecast, Garrett and the Tennyson family. Lake County Honor Flight, as I mentioned, they'll be going in a few weeks back to Washington, D.C. again. And you can go to lakecountyhonorflight.org for more information. Also, Stars and Stripes Honor Flight, which Bob Johnson flew on last year, I think it was, with Darlene as his guardian. Bob is head of our ambulance crew at Wilmot, and Darlene also works on the ambulance crew from time to time. Northern Illinois Council on Alcoholism and Substance Abuse, 5-star race car bodies. You can contact Daniel Sanchez, Corey Schultz, or Carl Schultz, and they can probably put you to work in the world of motorsports. Nielsen Enterprises, whether it be 2 wheels, 4 wheels, and yep, they already got snowmobiles available, even though with all this weather, you're like, are we ever going to use a snowmobile this year? I think you will. So check it out there at Nielsen Enterprises. On Libertyville Manor, where family helps the families to rest easy. So we want to invite you to check all those folks out. And also coming on board the next few weeks is the 5th annual Midwest Racers event put on by Nathan Crane. It's going to be on the Super Track, Track 1 and 2 combined up there in Waukesha. It's going to be closed to the public from 6 o'clock until further notice, till the event is done. and it's $150 per person. Tax and fees and everything is included. And want you to check out their website or check out Nathan Crane, his Facebook page, actually. And there's more information on the event that's going to be coming up on Saturday, November the 2nd. It's the 5th annual Midwest Racers event. It's a lot of fun. Scott Carpenter and I co-announced it on Facebook Live last year. This year, that's the same night as the Southeastern Wisconsin Short Track Racing Hall of Fame induction ceremony up there in Hartford, Wisconsin. So some folks may go to the induction and then try to sneak over to the event afterwards if they can work it out. So check it out, Nathan Crane. And again, he's got all the information, a lot of fun. You see a lot of different racers that race in it. And we're going to try to get Nathan on before the event to talk a little bit more about it. Also, as I mentioned, this coming weekend at Wilmot Raceway, a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the first ever Fall Classic. On Thursday night, it's going to be highlighted by the Wisconsin Autometer powered by Gandrud Performance, wingless sprint cars. And they've got several contributing partners that are going to help out to increase that purse just a little bit. The major one, though, is Ryan Marshall and his wife have put up an extra $500 to the winner. Also, there's been money put up by Ellen Ipson, American Family Insurance, Force One Performance, R&R Crossing, Fox Lake Harbor, Jack's Helmets, Sally and Bob and Tony of the Hunt Club of Richmond, JB Earth, and J&J Powder Coating. Folks are interested in getting involved. It's not only going to be for the wingless cars on Thursday, it's also going to be for the 1175 Sports Complex IRA Lightning Sprints that'll be racing on Friday night. If you're interested in helping to support either of those two classes, you can get in touch with me at Michael Babicz, Babicz, at AOL.com, or give me a call or text at 262-206-5465. All the money collected by me will be going to the drivers and will be handed out to the drivers, the wingless drivers, on Thursday night and Friday night to the IRA Lightning Sprint drivers. In action also on Thursday night will be the Unified Street Stocks, the Bandits, and also the IMCA style modifieds are also racing on Thursday night, and as well as the 604 wing sprint cars. And the 604 wing sprint cars will race all 3 nights, as will the modifieds, as will the Bandits, as will the Unified Street Stocks. And their points they accumulate on Thursday and Friday will be used to line them up in part on Saturday night. And on Saturday night is the 410 open competition wing sprint cars, outlaw style wing sprint cars, similar to the IRA cars that have been racing a few times this year, and also somewhat similar to the World of Outlaw type cars. There's been some extra money added to the purses in all of the classes that are racing this weekend at Wilmot. And Saturday night, we will be crowning a champion. It'll be the last champion to be crowned at Wilmot Raceway in 2024, and that'll be for the 410 winged outlaw sprint cars on Saturday night. This last Saturday night, it was championship night presented by Antioch Napa Auto Parts. Mike and Matt Sexton putting up some extra money for the Wing 604 cars, and also D. Wells Automotive of Gurnee, Don Wells Automotive of Gurnee. They also put up some extra money that went to the Wing 604s, and they co-sponsored the championship night. And in the Wing 604s, it was Ian Steer winning his second feature of the season, but it was Tommy Sexton, Mr. Excitement, winning his 6th championship of some type at Wilmot. And it was his first in a Wing 604, as it was their first championship to be crowned this year at Wilmot. So congratulations goes out to him. And then in the wingless cars, it was a whale of a feature event, and it was Scott Cuxhouse's son, a second-generation driver, and that was Tyler Cuxhouse out of Antioch, winning his 3rd feature of the season. And winning the championship, despite not winning a feature event all year, was Bristol, Wisconsin's Chris Klemko, a second-generation driver. His dad, Mike, received the first trophy that I ever presented at a Wilmot banquet back in 1980. And I'll be presenting another one to Chris this year, and he is a two-time champion now in the wingless cars, hoping to get a feature win either this coming Thursday night at Wilmot, or then I understand he's going to race on September 28th up at Plymouth in the Wisconsin Sprint Car Championships. And then he's going to race at least one time. I'm not sure if they're running one or two times with the World of Outlaws down at the Route 66 Speedway down there by Joliet. That'll be coming up in October. So congratulations goes out to Chris and to Tommy. And then in the modifieds, it was Steve Miller winning another feature. I believe it feature win number 4, I think, at Wilmot. And it was Joel Crowbridge, though, with a 5th place finish. That was good enough to win his first championship ever. Joel, another second-generation driver. And he got his first modified 19 years ago, and he bought it from none other than Steve Miller. So that was kind of neat, the two of them sharing victory lane on Saturday night. And Joel does plan on running some of the events this weekend at Wilmot. And also Steve Miller has committed to running all 3 nights for sure. And in the Bandits, it was David McKellips, one of our guests last week, scoring the feature win out of Mount Pleasant. And that was a wild and crazy Bandit feature event for the B&L Office Furniture, powered by American Tire and Auto Repair of Lindenhurst and Kenosha Bandits. And it was Ryan Tiny Horse Johnson scoring the championship, his second back-to-back and third championship overall in the Bandits at Wilmot. He also does plan on racing all 3 nights at Wilmot this coming weekend. So we also want to thank everybody that came out and helped put beds together for the Sleep in Heavenly Peace program, and everybody that contributed bedding supplies. And stay tuned to our program, because we're going to try to work with Sleep in Heavenly Peace to doing another event at some point, maybe even during the winter or early next spring. So a lot of racing still to go this weekend at Wilmot. And of course, always we want to talk some straight racing to our good friends from Great Lakes Dragaway, where they seem to race until the snow flies. And lately, I don't think we're worrying about the snow flying. I think we're worrying more about the mosquitoes flying, because they seem to be still around because it's been so warm. We haven't had that good solid freeze to get rid of them just yet. But hey, that makes for some great opportunity for fans to come out and enjoy some racing, right, John?
You bet. Yeah, we're just coming off a great weekend, a great race we had Saturday with the Wisconsin Outlaw Street at the Nitro Streetcar Brawls. The track was on kill, a lot of glue on that track, a couple people falling over, a couple people walking out of their shoes, and we set some really quick times there. There was probably 4 or 5 cars that went under sub 4 seconds in the 8th mile, 394, 395, 200 miles an hour in the 8th mile. Really close racing. It was really exciting to watch. It was fun to race there ourselves with our group, Brew City Gassers, but it's fun to be a part of it. And they got something really special going on there now with this race. I think it's going to take off even more next year.
And now I know it's Wednesday night. It's ladies' night. And when we talked last week, you said there's not too many nights left for the ladies and the guys to have that battle of the sexes. Have you got any more news on when that's going to come to a close and who's likely to win it?
It's getting pretty close now. The men were ahead a few races, but the women won one. I think it might be 10-11 favoring the men right now, but we still have tonight to go, and we have at least through the end of this month, and possibly they might do it again into October, depending on how the weather is. But yeah, it's getting close. But I'm going to try to see if I can get one of the racers in here. Kristen, she's won 5 of the ladies races and a couple of the Battle of the Sexes races. She's really hot as far as on the thing. I'm going to see if I can get her on here and have her talk a little bit about the Wednesday night races.
Well, and of course, Lake County Hose and Equipment, Billy Fusting. We talked about him a number of times and had him on the program, and he likes to run those. Are those called like nostalgia racers, or what is it? What exactly is it called that Billy runs?
Yeah, he runs like we're running our Time Machine National, so run that. He runs in the 1320 group, which is kind of like they'll have front engine dragsters and alters like he has some of the vintage stuff, nostalgia type. I think he was out. I saw him out there Thursday night, and I think he was testing, but I was going to talk to him, and I missed him. But yeah, I saw him out there, so I think he had his car out for one more pass for the year.
Yeah, you want to get another run in there, and I know his son Joey raced for a while, and so did Kimbra. Are they both still racing? I believe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, one of them I think it was his daughter that races the Super Comp dragster. I believe she's still doing that. Yeah, I don't know about the son though. I don't know what he's doing, but yeah, I think she. In fact, I was at one of the races, and I know he was there supporting his daughter. Was there, so yeah, she's doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something because on occasionally, and you always say that racers have another life. Well, in her other life, she's an athletic trainer, and from time to time, when I'm officiating high school basketball, I run into her. She's the trainer on some of the games that I end up officiating. Fortunately, I have not needed her services, and we want to try to keep it that way.
yeah, I did not know that. That's interesting. Yeah,
cool. Yeah, for sure. And and that's just like Tyler Cuxhouse that won, had a clean sweep last week in the wingless sprint cars at Wilmot, and he'll be running this Thursday at Wilmot again for the last time those cars will run this year. But he actually works for Super Shocks, and Super Shocks, I believe besides oval track racing, I think don't they also do something with drag racing as well?
Yeah, I believe they do. Yeah, they're that's something. A lot of different shock companies, and it's amazing what the shock absorber settings and what the shocks do for a car. It's kind of crazy. One or two clicks on those shock absorbers can make a big difference from knocking the tires off to dead hooking.
Yep, that's for sure. So again, and I know last week we talked about the last couple of weeks. You're looking for somebody to help with social media there at Great Lakes Dragway. Your young man who did an awesome job all summer has now moved on to the cold ice hockey world.
Sure has, yeah.
With the Chicago Wolves. But go ahead and let folks know how they might get in touch with Randy if they're interested in doing that for Great Lakes Dragway.
Probably the best thing to do would be to call him at the phone 262-878-3783. He's been answering the phone a lot lately. He's been the voice of Great Lakes Dragway on the telephone there. So he would tell you what to do as far as fill out an application and bring a resume out. We're looking forward to next Saturday on the 21st. We're going to have this Saturday actually coming up. It will be a big Walker Memorial race where it's a race we put on every year, and we kind of remember all the racers that have passed away over the years and have passed this year. We had a couple of them that unfortunately passed away, so it's kind of a fun race and get together and kind of remember everybody that has been out at the track and raced. So that's usually a really good event. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah, well, and we've lost a few this year at Wilmot too in the circle track racing world. Glenn Hefner, a great supporter of Wilmot as a driver, as a car owner. He was involved in track promotion for a while up at, as they called it at that time, Little Beaver Dam, up there in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, and from Hefner Racing Products. He passed away, and I'm going to give the information a little bit later because they're going to have a celebration of life for him this coming Sunday up at the Hefner Racing Products facility up there in Hartford. And then also Gene Wright from J&L Oil, who was very, very involved in Wilmot for a lot of years. And the old J&L stations, John, you might remember those. They were particularly all over northern Illinois. And Gene owned those and got very involved in racing, owned a race car, a couple of race cars at one point, especially Daryl Dodd's cars. and he passed away a few weeks ago. So, and they had his celebration of life just last Saturday. So, so our thoughts and prayers go out to the folks that we've lost. And, but on the positive side, we seem to be getting newer and younger drivers. And actually, I also did pick up a young lady named Dakota Cleaver. She is from Grant High School. She's a senior, and she's going to be working with me for the rest of this season, and then next year, hopefully, taking it over at Wilmot for doing all the press releases and
nice.
marketing and that kind of thing. And she's the editor-in-chief of the Grant High School newspaper, and they don't even call it a newspaper anymore. She calls it a magazine. And she came out first time ever at an oval track last Saturday night, and was just kind of taking it all in. And I got her ride in the pace truck, which she really, that was a treat for. But John, she also races.
Really?
When I called her and contacted her after she contacted me and said she was interested, she races ATVs down in Indiana and actually broke a vertebrae in her back a few weeks ago and is sidelined for the rest of the year. But that has not hampered her enthusiasm for racing.
That's cool.
Loves it. And her little brother turned 9 years old last Saturday, and he races ATVs. And her dad races ATVs and UTVs.
Oh, okay.
So racing in the family, but they had never been to an oval track till last Saturday night. So I don't know if I will have to ask her if they've ever been to Great Lakes Dragaway. If they haven't, I'm going to have to bring them out and indoctrinate them to some straight racing too.
You bet. Yeah.
So
that would be pretty neat for sure.
Yeah, that's always a lot of fun. So now where can folks go, as I know they always can, for information on Great Lakes Dragaway, on what's coming up? Again, tonight, ladies' night. Ladies get in free. They race for free. And they can keep an eye on the Battle of the Sexes and see what's going on there. But then also, for all your other events that you got coming up now through the whole month of October, at least Mother Nature cooperates.
Yeah, we got one more of the Wisconsin Outlaw Street. That's going to be the final race. It's going to be October 12th, along with the Nitrous Streetcar Brawl. So that'll determine who is the winner after all the point accumulation all year. And it should be another great event. We're getting, we had a guy, this last Saturday, came from Arizona for this race. So we're getting it, the word is getting out there, and I think I only see it growing and getting better and faster. But if people want to find out more what's going on, you've got the website up here. I see the GreatLakesDragaway.com. Facebook page is awesome for Great Lakes Dragaway. If you want to go on Facebook and like and follow Great Lakes Dragaway, there's updates on there, and we'll see who we get to be our new social media provider there for updates and that. We'll see what happens. And like I say, if somebody really wants to do that, that's good with the computers and really good writing things down and wants to be at the track quite a bit. They're definitely looking for somebody to replace Nathan. So that would be great.
Okay. Sounds great. Well, again, John, we appreciate you coming on. We'll let you get back out there maybe and take in a little bit of the ladies' night and see how the guys are doing tonight. And then we'll look forward to talk to you next week.
Sounds good, Mike. We'll talk to you next week.
Take care, John. Yeah, you too. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that was John with our weekly report from our good friends at Great Lakes Dragaway, one of our initial marketing partners that came on board with us. And we certainly do thank Randy and his wife for doing that. I mean, they jumped on board before we had our first show this year. And as they say, the rest is history. So we appreciate that support very, very much. Kent said we had somebody in the green room. So enjoying all of the... look who's here.
What? How are you, buddy?
Good old Matt Rowe. Well, Matt, welcome to the program. I'm glad we've connected. We go back a little ways. You raced,
are we dating ourselves? So like 24 or 5 years? What?
Give or take. I didn't have as much hair as you've got, but I did have a little bit more hair and a little different color. I think you're cheating. I think you're using some kind of hair coloring dye or something.
It's all the colors, we still kind of look like an old man.
Yeah. So, well, I'll tell you, you and I have known each other for quite a while, and you promoted, I think, 141 for a little while, but you've gotten very, very much involved. Well, 10 years
that stint was, but I mean, it's so long ago that I forgot about
it. So, but nowadays you have got one of the more successful enduro series, basically, and I'll toot your horn for you, although you do a pretty good job of it yourself. In the country, I mean, you get great car turnouts, you get a decent fan turnout, and you put on some great racing events, and you seem to have the magic formula. I know Darryl Traber and them, they tried to do some different things with the old Midwest Enduro Stock Car Series that I announced for a number of years. And that series actually began with John McCarnes and Tom Deary, if I remember correctly.
You are correct.
But see, the mind's still there a little bit. But you seem to have hit the magic formula. So enlighten folks out there on A, what an enduro is, and B, how yours is different than some of the others.
Okay. Well, I mean, enduro, they stole the name from motorcycles, people think maybe, or something. I don't know, but it's just a nickname for an endurance race. Kind of around the country, enduros kind of have one thing in common that isn't a part of my enduro. They're kind of a rookie deal. They're kind of a semi wreck fest, maybe. They can get kind of crazy and chaotic. And when I started mine, I named it the ISS, which I wanted some cool letters like ASA, ISS, but it stands for the Impact Survival Series. But again, it's kind of crazy. I don't know that my series should be called an enduro because it's different. But I mean, that's it. It's the ISS Enduro Series. It's so much different. The guys drive with, so much care. And that's kind of the whole thing. Through the process, I mean, wind it on back to 1999 when I had my track. The first time I ran an enduro, I thought I was like doing something really new and fresh by having 4-cylinder enduro races. And the Dearys at Lacrosse and Rockford beat me to it by a year, so I copied their rules in the beginning. And we'd have just a little more than a window knockout car. I did make the drivers put a little hoop and a bar on the driver's side. Figure if they put a little more time in their car, they might drive a little bit better than a window knockout car that you're going to crush on Monday morning. And I did that for 9 years at 141. And I sold 141. And then I actually leased it for a year. So there was actually a year when I was leasing it, I didn't promote any enduros. But I went around the country scoring them. We used to score for Galesburg, Michigan, Farley, Iowa, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We scored a number of enduros around the local area here, the local states. And then the year they actually purchased my racetrack, the guys I sold it to, not the crew that has it now, and not even the Retaichik crew, but the original guys that I sold it to back in 2009 said, "Enduros, put a fork in them. They're done." What? And it kind of touched a nerve with me because, owning the racetrack is, it's an experience. You got a lot of type A personalities. You got passionate drivers. I mean, and the weekly deal, they got more money stuck in stuff than they should. They maybe lied to their wife about how much they paid for something. They might have taken their rent money to get a motor put in their car with 2 nights to go and needed to win to get the rent paid, and then they didn't win. Weekly is just a crazy, crazy deal. I mean, it's intense. And the enduro guys are people who came into property and just said, "Man, that was so awesome. When's the next one?" And it's like you go in the pits and you have a beer with them. So there was a special spot for the enduro guys. It always made me feel good about my facility. And when they said put a fork in and they're done, I said, they're not done. I'll show you. And it was kind of out of spite that I started this ISS as a traveling series. And somehow I took all the stuff that I'd learned over the years and started sort of rolling it in. My first traveling enduro, I lost $2,700. Oh, God, I don't even know why there was a second one, but yeah, we kept it going. We adjusted the formula. We learned a lot from being on the road. And it was always an interesting statistic that 2/3 of the guys don't finish the race. And our enduro really took off, and we made it 5,000 to win and 2,500 for second, which has been for like the last 10 years. With the caveat that I keep the first and second place cars. They drive them right on my trailer. It's an automatic claim. You have to force drivers to keep the money out. You can't just write rules and expect them to follow them, but they'll follow that. Well, I know I'm going to lose it, so I better not put my good motor in, that sort of stuff. And it does seem to be work. That is a part of the formula, keeping the money out of it. But again, we $5,000 to win, 2,500 for second. I keep the top two cars, and I think we've had 86 ISS races now. And I don't think, I never dreamed that this thing's going to last 2 years or 3 years. I didn't think. I was mad that they said enduros were done. I started it, and I was surprised when it was going 5 years later and 10 years. And this is like year 15. It's just amazing. But in a $5,000 to win race, you want to finish that race.
Right.
And I coached the guys along the way, quite a bit, to where we average 50% of the cars finishing instead of just 1/3 of them. And there's a lot of respect amongst the drivers. You have good days and bad days, but nobody's taking you out on purpose. We black flag guys that do that and stuff like that. But, you learn real quick. And I teach you, if you're a slow learner, I was repetitive for a lot of years, you knock your toe out on. It's just going to be a long day of changing right front tires, right? Don't lean and run. It's not a Saturday night deal. Your mom's not going to remember that you led lap 21, 22, and 23. They're just going to remember that you started coming in the pits after that. And pretty quick, you ran out of tires by lap 100. And that's all anybody's going to remember. Oh, yeah, I think we changed 7 tires, 8. We borrowed one from the neighbor. Yeah, that's what they're not going to remember, that you led 3 laps. Be around at the end. Find a way to be around at the end. So, and the guys have embraced it. The crazy thing about my series, and we're racing Saturday night at 141 Speedway, my old stomping ground on their dirt. And I'm excited for it because it's, a beautiful facility, as we all know. I will have 15 or 20 guys from Minnesota. I will have 3 or 4 from the UP, get an occasional traveler up from Illinois, from Iowa. I mean, they come from a long ways for what we do, because they say there's nothing like it where we are,
Right.
The respect level and stuff. And that's why it keeps going. Is my drivers, we're going to a new track. We have a decent racer page on Facebook. They share information on the gear ratio and stuff. A guy that's never been there before. They share setups and stuff. It's like, I'll tell anybody anything. You still got to beat me on the track.
That's right.
I mean, I have some amazing drivers. I have drivers that can win a championship at any level, and just financially, they're racing with me, and some of them are actually making money racing.
Don't tell the IRS.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, but I mean, I've had guys that their season total has been over $15,000 of winnings in a $500 car. And they're not $500 cars in this economy, but $1,500 is a realistic cost of a car. So that can win one of my races. The driver's doing it. I mean, that's the thing, is that the series is more about the driver than the equipment you bring. So that's
Well,
the cool part.
Well, and I like what you do with the, hey, they know up front, I finished first or second. Matt's taking my car home. And, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't recall, because I have, you've been nice enough to ask me to announce a few of your events, and I don't remember anybody arguing with you about giving you the car.
I've had like two people out of 86 events that didn't want to, and it's like, okay, you're disqualified and you can't.
And now you get zero.
You can't race with us for a year. And the next guy gets bumped up. So both of those instances were over 12 or 13. We were fresh and new, I guess, in some people's minds. And now nobody comes to it not knowing. So,
right. Well, and that's, IMCA has got a somewhat of a similar formula. I mean, with their cars, they're not automatic buys at the end of a feature, but they are, you got the engine claim rules out there. And, I can recall when Andy Callan was first bringing the IMCAs into Wilmot, and we had a guy from up north come down, and he thought he was just going to run over everybody at the end of the season because his track wasn't running. So he, did kind of run over everybody and won by a mile. And Andy walked up to him, said, "Okay, I got a tow truck here. We're pulling your motor. Here's the money." And the guy's like, "What are you talking about?" Well, we're an IMCA track. The promoter has the option to claim your motor. I'm claiming your motor, so you got two choices. You either give me your motor, or you get in your hauler and you leave. You get zero for tonight, and I will be reporting you to the IMCA, and you won't be allowed to run an IMCA sanctioned event. It's life is simple. And the guy loaded up and left and didn't run an IMCA event for a year.
Yeah, and that, as long as the guy knows it going in, and everybody knows my deal now, and that's great, because then they build appropriate cars. And so I take the car, and I used to put it on eBay like right away, and the guy I took it from would always just 98% of the time just buy it back. So I had to get a little smarter, as the years have gone on. I like to think I got smarter, but we hold the car out for a race. So if you're going to be in my next race, you got to have another car, and maybe that other car is better. Maybe you ran out of money. I don't know. I would say 60% of the time the original guy gets it back, maybe, but about 40% of the time it's somebody new and different, and new to the sport even, which that's obviously good for the sport,
That's what you want. That's what you want. And now, and I got a few minutes left with you, and then I got to move on to my next guest because he's actually racing for the championship on Saturday, Blake Nemi at Wilmot. But the Bandits, you heard me mention them earlier. They have really taken off and grown at Wilmot. Very similar to what you're talking about. The drivers, there's a big camaraderie. They help each other out. Yeah, last Saturday night was a crazy feature, and there was, as a matter of fact, David McKellips apologized to Austin North on the PA in Victory Lane for taking him out. And he said, I was kind of expecting to go to the back of the field with Austin, and when they didn't send me to the back, I wasn't going to say, okay, I'll go to the back. Never mind.
Oh, you can argue, yeah.
He said, I just stayed where I was at, and he goes, I'm going to have to square up with Austin later, buy him a pizza or something, or a cold beverage, and because and actually Austin came back and finished third in the feature after having to restart at the back. So, but they all. And there's a lot of ladies in that division. They all work together, and we have had some guys that run with you on occasion.
David ran with us for a season. Great guy. Got an Ironman award for completing a season, and it was hard because he had a car totally destroyed at Dell's, and he really had to work hard to get a car for the last race to complete the Ironman award that we give out. So yeah, but he's run with us, and there's some talk. We have obviously this Saturday, 141 Speedway, my old stomping ground. I am so excited about going back there. We went back there since I sold it four times for New Year's Day races, and we just couldn't get the formula right. I mean, one of them is now the infamous chocolate milkshake 150. Thank God for transponders. You couldn't, I mean, there was 82 brown cars by lap 6. You couldn't tell, guy going in the pits, it's like, who just went in the pits? Transponder scoring. Thank goodness. That was a crazy, crazy day when the frost came out of the ground. We had a 36-degree day, too warm for a New Year's Day race. But we are going back to Wausau Speedway that closed. Well, it's not quite closed yet. October 12th, the ISS, we've been racing there for 13 years. This will be our 14th race there. And the Wimmers have held it open for us long enough to have our final, be the final race there, because we have had a great race, Creepy Classic, every single year. It was going to be on October 26th. We had to slide it forward for the Wimmers because they got to close and get all their stuff out, have an auction. I'm not sure what they're doing up at State Park Speedway, but Ron called me and asked if I could, is there a way we could move it a little bit forward? It's been on the schedule all year as the 26th of October. So we bumped it to the 12th, and being the last race ever at State Park Speedway, Dave McKellips was one of the guys that I heard mumbling, I might have to come up for that one. A lot of people want to be a part of that last race ever. But that also freed up the 26th. So we have a race at Golden Sands Speedway on the original Wausau date of October 26th. So we got 3 races this Saturday, 141 Speedway. This is a fabulous dirt track. My God, they lay down such a beautiful surface. I built an asphalt track, and I'm an asphalt guy, but in that they made it into the best dirt track in the state, in my opinion. But the races there are incredible. The racers, they get sometimes 200 on a weekly car count, and you watch all these flag to flag races. It's an amazing, amazing facility over there. And every time we race on the dirt, it was a New Year's Day race. We're going to have a real prepped surface, 150 laps. I'm so excited. It's coming. It's coming here real soon. We did the lineup draw back on Monday here. At that point, I had 55 cars pre-registered, a couple more tagged on since then. So we'll get a few day a show. I was hoping to start about 70, and because I'm sure we'll get over 100 for the October races. But there's still some guys finishing up some local racing. There's still some other competing races. But 141 Speedway, you don't want to miss it. And we have a speed sport. We have issracing.tv, and the whole season is on there, and you can check it all out from the comfort of your living room. Rather you were there with us checking it out in the grandstands, that's by far number one. But so many guys from Minnesota, UP, Illinois. It's convenient to be able to have their family and friends watch at home. So we was like everybody else, mainstream and got a internet TV channel, whatever we call those. We live stream there.
There you go.
Well, live stream.
Matt, I'm glad we've connected. I know we talked earlier in the summer, or in the summer. Actually, it was still winter when we talked before. But we are going to talk off mic at some point real soon, and see what might happen. But again, a website that folks can go to, or a phone number to contact you, whether they happen to be a driver or a fan that wants some more information.
We have an exceptionally active Facebook page for the Impact Survival Series. We have a driver page called ISS Racers. They both have the phone number and contact. And way back when, I went on and I said, I should get ISS Racing as a website. And I looked at it one time on GoDaddy, and I went back the next day to buy it, and somebody snagged it. It's almost like they could tell I was sniffing it out. So my website is irace.iss.com. So my drivers can type it in, irace.iss.com.
There you go. That's easy enough. All right. Well, Matt, always good chatting with you.
Planet, so.
There you go.
Find us there on Facebook. But yes, great talking with you, Mike. And yes, we will be talking again.
Man, for sure. All righty. Enjoy your race this weekend. And I'll be thinking of you as I'm announcing at Wilmot, but we will be in touch. Thanks a lot.
Right. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Yep,
Matt Little, a great guy, did a lot of racing over the years, and now, has been for, as he said, 15 years promoting the ISS Enduro Series, and they'll be at 141 this coming weekend, and they're going to be up at Wausau October 12th, and then Golden Sands on the 26th of October. Joining us now is our final guest for the evening, and he is in quest of the final championship that will be crowned at Wilmot in 2024. On Saturday night will be the 410 Winged Outlaw Sprint Car finale. It's basically an open comp program. Does use rules, similar to the IRA's rules and IRA type cars and the World of Outlaw type cars. But Wilmot has always had a champion in a 410 sprint car. It's usually been just the series, and then now this year the added race was added as part of the fall festival. It's I think Blake Nemey's joining us, and Blake, you're the point leader going into Saturday night. I know you have intentions of running at Wilmot on Saturday night. I don't know how many of the other drivers that are within striking distance of you are going to show up. You never know. I mean, that's why the old adage, when they always call them outlaws, that's what they used to be. You just kind of went where you felt like going. And so this coming Saturday night, rumor has it may actually be the last race of the season at the end of the night. But your thoughts going into the finale at Wilmot for the Fall Festival this Saturday?
Yeah, it's been really exciting for Wilmot this year. Been really consistent. We're just looking on, continuing to build our program. The points battle was really close with Rinke, and then he didn't show up to one of the races, and I think it was something happened with his car. It was in the middle of rebuilding it or something, but it was really neck and neck with him. I was looking to compete in all the races alongside him, but I think we might be 15 points or so ahead of Blackhurst. I don't know if it's worth it for them, or I don't want to say not worth it, but I don't know if that's in their wheelhouse to compete this weekend. I know they're chasing the IRA championship, so I'm not sure if they're taking time off to tool their race car or race with MOA, but we got to go there. It's Wilmot. It's the best position I've ever been in order to compete for some sort of a championship. I've never won a championship, so this is all new for me. So just happy that my team has put me in position, and we've been solid more often than we haven't been. And we just go there, show up like it's another race, and try and win it. So I work that day. I leave at 3 p.m. and I'll go straight to Wilmot.
So you'll be okay if it's the last race of the night, right? So, but yeah, and I mean, should you win the title, I mean, you're joining some pretty elite company that's been champions at Wilmot over the years, and certainly some of them have also been the IRA champs the same season, not always. But last year, I mean, Bill Baylog has won a lot of IRA championships. He's won a lot of races at Wilmot, but he had never won the Wilmot championship until last season. And then he finally won it, and now he's campaigning full time with the World of Outlaws. And I understand he also put up some of the extra money for Saturday night for the 410 feature. So, Wilmot is not only the original home of the IRA when Ray Toft and Junior Dodd and Whitey Harris, put it together well over 50 some years ago, but it was basically the original home of sprint car racing in Wisconsin. I mean, you had the super modifieds is what the IRA originally kind of came out with in the old style, sometimes referred to as MRA modifieds. But the first sprint cars without a onboard starter or clutch ran at Wilmot. And, so I think that would certainly add a lot of prestige for you to get that crown on Saturday night.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like you said, past IRA champions that have won Wilmot. And, it's, just to run up front with IRA in general has been one of my main goals. Whenever you show up, you want to really get on the podium. I think it's really special. But to put together I know it's not, as many races as an IRA championship or, but to me, it's, like in 2020, we ran there so often. It was, really special for me in particular. It's, making the best out of a bad situation and year in general. I think for a lot of people is we got to spend a lot of time at Wilmot. It's really close to home for quite a few people. And it's where I remember pulling in with my grandpa back in 2011 was my first race there. And we brought our 360 with and got a lot of, it's where I got my first 410 feature win was at Wilmot. So this place has a lot of history. Not only that has preceded me, but just for my own personal life. And, the great addition of the new grandstands, they're always looking to improve the facility and just really love racing there. And to be in a position for a championship is not really something that I have had the pleasure of taking part in. I've ran full time with the IRA in the past, but that's not really realistic for me anymore, just with my work situation. But just hats off to my team. Jeff, Todd, and Danny have been just absolute on kill for this entire year, and they put in so much effort. It's remarkable, and nothing gets past them. So just even the small, minute details of, this is what we found this week, and this is the tweaks we're making. It's just like everything's under a microscope, and you have to be that way in order to win. It's no mistake that a Baylog has won it, and Jeremy Schultz and Jordan Goldsberry. It's that all those guys have done something, and to have my name up alongside them and many others that I didn't mention is it means quite a bit. We still got to go out and earn it. Nothing's a given. You can't afford any kind of a silly mistake or DNF, but I mean, we're definitely in position to write our names on the board there.
That's for sure. And now this last Saturday, you did have an IRA show. Ironically, we just had Matt Rowe on, who former promoter at 141, who's taken his Enduro series up to 141 this Saturday. How did, for the folks that didn't watch it on Flow or haven't seen the results yet, how did you do last Saturday? And where are you sitting now in the IRA points as it heads up? Well, I guess there's two more shows yet in the season.
Well, we're not full time with the IRA, so I think we're 12th or something. But we've raced 14 races with the IRA. 141 went pretty well, quick time. 4th to 2nd in the heat, 5th to 3rd in the dash, and then 6th to 3rd in the feature. We believe the race was winnable on our end. I got to make a little, some changes. It's tough to, always be going to a different track, even though I've been to these tracks quite a bit in general. But, each time you go, it's a little bit different, and everyone brings a little bit different solution to the table. And, I feel like we had a car to win. I just got to make better decisions. And track was awesome, really smooth, really wide, 2 lanes. Can't ask for anything more. Love going there. I wish we went there more often. And it's one of my favorite places. But anytime you can give us a smooth surface in 2 lanes, there's really nothing you can complain about. So we also ended up tied for 3rd in the hop points, which was nice. That finale is really, really cool that they do at 141. Really cool trophy, just cool bragging rights, just really, really cool. I have one. Wanted a second one, came within 2 points of winning it, even though we only went to 4 out of the 5 races. I think it speaks a lot to my, to the team's capability. And I had to work that day. One of the races at Beaver Dam, I had to work. So, but to be only 2 points out of winning the whole thing and not showing up to all of them when all the others did, just can't say enough about my team. They believe in me and put me in a position to win more than I deserve. And I love 141, but I'm excited to close it out at Wilmot this weekend.
You're testing my memory now, but this year the race is at Wilmot. How many podiums?
I don't know. I don't know the specific stat for that, but this year's been a blur for me. I think for me, it's I feel personally it's my strongest year that I've been able to put together as a whole. I know for a fact we've ran 14 races with the IRA, 7 of which have been podiums. But the internal discussion right now is, well, how do we take those podiums and turn one of them into a win? How do we take, those podiums and turn 2 of them into a win? So, being in position that often, there are things that are possible from my end to make, that one better decision, to put myself in position, maybe not third, but, at least second, if second, then win. So just comes with laps, comes with experience, but it's tough. It's a brand new team for me this year. I'm learning them, they're learning me in the car. And I think just to be in the position that we have been, like I said, more than I deserve. They put in so much work, so much effort. You got to give them credit. And I don't know the stats for Wilmot, but
you've done pretty well, I recall.
Yeah, Wilmot's been really great to me. I think it just kind of suits my style. It's just one of those tracks where I think I can, I've been going there long enough. I should know how to race it, but when someone gives you an amazing car, you still got to race it differently. It's funny how that changes. So,
right.
But just having all the options on the table to extract the most out of the car, you get into a different headspace at that point. But man, some really great dashes at Wilmot, and it's another track where it's wide, smooth, 2 lanes more often than not. So, and those are the tracks that a lot of people can excel at, but Wilmot's been really special to me. I'm really excited to go back there this weekend.
It's going to be great to have you. And of course, now the season wraps up for the IRA at Plymouth, the Plymouth Dirt Track on the 28th with the Wisconsin Sprint Car Championships, and now this Saturday up at Plymouth, of course, the annual Watson with the Dirt King Late Models headlining that program. The Wisconsin Wingless are up there as well, and I believe Street Stocks are on the program. But then that following week with an all sprint car show, I presume you're going to be able to swing it and work off for that one. At least I hope so.
For Plymouth, yes. Yeah, we'll be there at Plymouth.
And your thoughts now heading to Plymouth that night?
I don't remember being off the podium at Plymouth this year, so I like our chances. Again, it's another one of those tracks that I know when we won earlier this year, the track was very rough, but that's to be expected. Early in the year, just working the kinks out. I think everybody knew that. But that night we won. It was, we started second. Track was rough, narrow. It was tough to pass. First person that was going to make it into turn 1 was going to win that feature. And luckily, they redid the original start. Neitzel beat me into the first corner on the original start. Second start, I beat Neitzel into the corner. So it was just one of those races where it was just, you just had to get the right start. And sometimes it's like that, you just got to capitalize on it. But since then, track's been, again, it's been amazing. There's been a cushion. There's been a bottom. It's been smooth slide jobs. It's been killer, pretty much all year. I'm excited to go back to Plymouth. We're not in the running for any kind of a championship or, things like that. We just show up and try and win. And, we don't want podiums. We want wins now. So it's hard. It's really, really tough to move out of that mindset of, is this good enough anymore? And you don't want to be too hard on yourself or the team, but what everyone's trying to get to is that next level. So, pushing yourself, pushing your team, and, in turn they push you. And it's just this, everyone wants to go faster, and to not go over the edge is another thing too. So, there's an exciting IRA championship. Thiel has a comfortable lead. Blackhurst, I think, is like 80 something points out. It'll be really tough for him to come back for it, but don't count him out. He's already a 2-time champion for a reason. So,
right.
But look at that too. The funding difference between the two teams is staggering. So, for Blackhurst to have led the championship as long as he had, versus the distance that he's behind now, that team's performance per dollar, if you will. Certainly no lack of talent on either end of that conversation, but it just says something about Jake's team. in Scotty Thiel's consistent performance. Getting those wins. I think that could be your race winner in second place. It's a toss up. So,
Right.
and not to mention all the others like Travis Aarons. It's his home, right? So, he's had an up and down year, but I love the IRA. It's a really great series. There's so many people that can pull off a win. It makes it so exciting. But the competition is so close, and it's what keeps me coming back. But ready to close out Plymouth strong. We want to win. We want to get to 2, and then we want to get to 3. So we just got to keep our heads down, keep working, and focus on what's ahead.
Yeah, well, this coming weekend, of course, Wilmot, WilmotRaceway.com. You can go and check that out. There is a 3-day pass if you want for the grandstands. They can get you $5 off. Otherwise, it's only $15 on Saturday night, for an adult 13 and over. Also on Wednesday, you talk about consistency. Chris Klemko winning the Wilmot Wingless Championship, 0 feature wins. Just Mr. Consistency this year in the wingless. And he's looking for that first one on Wednesday night. And then Friday, we got the MSA 360s that'll be racing along with the Lightning Sprints. And that's point shows for both of those series, those traveling series. And then Saturday night, as I mentioned, you're going to be I don't want to jinx you. We're going to crown the last champion.
Right.
And,
right.
You are the point leader going into that event.
Have to earn it. Yeah. Have to earn it. Nothing's free in this world. So happy to see Tommy Sexton. They're a 604 wing champion. Looked up to him, still do for a long time. And, it speaks to his level of talent also is, to leave the sprint car scene for however long it was. It feels like forever. When I first started racing at Wilmot, he was kind of the guy to beat. And then when he stepped away from racing, I was like, who is it going to be now, aside from Baylog, of course. But, when he came back, it was really, really exciting. Happy to see him win the championship. Well earned. Just got married, so congrats to him. That's really, really special.
Well, before I let you go, sponsors, folks you want to thank getting you to Wilmot on Saturday night.
Yeah, I got to thank my parents. They put me in a great position. And like I said, Jeff, Danny, and Todd, they put in an ungodly amount of work, and again, way more than I deserve. And I just want to race hard for them, get the win. They treat me like family. They're hard on me, but I mean, it's tough love. And, we're always talking about what we can do better. And sponsors that have stuck behind me for such a long time, and obviously some new ones tonight or this year. Captain Jim's Yacht Sales, Super Shocks, Duffy Fleet Service, Eberly Crane, Princeton Chevy GMC, Klein Design, Kistler Racing Engines, KPC Chassis, Smith Titanium, Bailings, and HRP Wings. They've been, some have been behind me for a while, others rather new, but we're looking to carry them into next year and keep this momentum going for as long as we can.
And you just mentioned HRP Wings, and we do want to give folks the at least a little synopsis of the celebration of life that's going to be taking place for Glenn Hefner, the founder of HRP, passing away. And the celebration of life is going to be this Sunday, the 22nd of September from noon until 4 at Glenn Hefner Incorporated, 2133 Constitution Avenue in Hartford, Wisconsin. Bring stories, bring some laughs, because that's what Glenn would want. So again, Blake, thanks a lot. We talked to you earlier in the year, and hopefully we'll be talking to you on Saturday night.
I hope so. That's the goal. We just got to show up and make it happen and let it happen. You can't force these things. So, definitely can't get into any silly mistakes. And, we just got to do what we normally do. And hopefully that's all we'll need.
All right. Thanks a lot, Blake. We'll see you Saturday at the Wilmot Fall Classic.
All right. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. That was Blake Nemi joining us. And that's going to wrap it up for tonight's show. Yes, 3 nights of racing at Wilmot Raceway starting tomorrow night, Thursday. That's right. It's going to be the wingless sprint cars highlighting the program on Thursday night. And then Friday night, it's the IRA Lightning sprints and the MSA 360 sprints highlighting the program. On Saturday night, Blake Nemi and a contingent, I'm sure, of 410 Outlaw Wing sprint cars that are going for the last champion to be crowned at Wilmot in 2024, the 410 Wing Sprint Car Champion. So until we see you next time on tomorrow night, Friday night, and Saturday night at Wilmot, this is Mike Babicz wishing you a pleasant evening, the best of tomorrows. Remember, kids, just say no to drugs. Thanks. Good night. God bless. And let's go racing, everybody.
Yeah.